Yeah.
You got the other
Thank
one,
you.
Maggie, right?
Okay.
The other
Oh, yeah.
email.
It's not gonna be on
I
TV or
forwarded
anything,
you
is
an
it?
email from Worcester Rec
Is it gonna be on
on the
TV?
master plan, their master
That's
plan.
community
Okay,
cable.
when did you send that?
Last week.
Is it on
I
right
don't know, I'll have to
now?
look.
Hold on, is it on right now?
Because
Yeah.
I went on.
So,
Oh,
open the meeting?
Yes.
All right. All right, we have minutes.
They're on a USB.
Do you wanna print them out and give
Sure.
them to me? I'll print them out?
Printer did not work.
No, the one here does.
The, margins might need to be fixed.
And it's a new folder, correct?
It's, yep, new folder.
That would have been our
14.
November 14th meeting.
Tim sent me up, didn't know we were getting recorded today.
I didn't know either until we walked in.
All right.
No funny business at the meeting today.
Or the man in the closet will come out.
And nobody keep making jokes about him coming out of the closet.
He's laughing at it too.
Not that it matters.
We have the most formal commission in town.
So you're gonna be in trouble already.
We're already gonna get in trouble.
All right, should we start talking about the
Yep.
new items while we're,
Let's talk about new items.
while we're,
What do we have?
you wanna start the new items and I'll get the copies?
You sure?
Yep.
Okay. We had a request from Jason with lacrosse. They want to host a tournament. And so I was trying to figure out the best way to push this forward and get back to them and say, gee, Jason, yes, you can have the tournament, no, you can't, or what process do I have to do, and, you know, contacting soccer because they're gonna be on the fields at the same time, so I don't want a conflict.
Right. So I think that's our issue, is that what times do we have that we're already scheduling? So tell me about the tournament. Is this,
Okay, here's what he said. Our league is 11 towns, so we would anticipate 8 to 12 fields to facilitate all games. I was hoping that we might be able to explore Pepperell as a suitable location, as the number of fields located between Varnum and Nissitissit would be ideal. We are looking at either Sunday 6/11 or Sunday 6/18 for these games. My hope is that NMLX will be able to use this as a fundraiser, similar to Pepperell's Soccer Columbus Day tournament,
so 6/11,
or Sunday 6/18,
so just one day?
one day.
On a Sunday, okay.
Because I think, doesn't lacrosse usually play their games on Sunday anyway?
They might. I think the issue is just when the end of the season is for Neshoba NYVSL, Neshoba NVYSL, Neshoba Valley Youth Soccer League. So they will end and then they'll go to their tournament.
Oh.
And so I think we've got to figure out when the end of that season is. If their season ends either one of those 2 weekends, that's perfect because they play on Saturdays. They don't have games on Sundays.
Correct.
And we would just have to make sure they don't unknowingly book some older kids' games on Sunday afternoon like they've been
As a rule, right.
that they've been known to do.
Okay, would they know that now?
They might. I would reach out to
Would that be Paula to reach out to her and ask?
whoever the scheduling person is, but you might.
Start
I
with her
would
and see if she
start
can-
with Paula. Yeah.
All right, so I'll call Paula to check.
I'm trying to, I'm just trying to remember, like, usually, I think the season usually ends one of those 2 weekends, because I've always, with my family reunion, run into problems the following weekend, having the Neshoba tournament, with my daughters being in it, and then having to, go to a family reunion.
Okay, soccer.
But they're looking for a one-day tournament.
They're looking for a one-day tournament.
Okay.
I'm just looking to see if they gave me. Springfield opening now this was last year's. They used the fields until June 12th, is what they said.
Okay.
So that was last year, so Paula may know now.
Yeah, I mean, I would figure that out, and I would almost shoot for the earlier of the 2 weekends, if lacrosse has a choice of this.
Season. All right, and Paula would be able to tell me if it would be an issue with them having the fields all day Sunday.
Right, if it's the regular schedule, they shouldn't have any games on Sunday. But if it's the Neshoba Valley tournament weekend, they might, if they're hosting tournament games, which they have traditionally done, then we're gonna have a conflict, we're gonna have to
Right.
figure it out.
All right, so let me ask her that. I'll shoot her off an email then tomorrow and ask her if she can get that information for us.
Right.
So as long as there's not a conflict to the 11th, he can go
Yeah.
the 11th or the 18th, it doesn't.
Yeah, I would just, let's see when the regular season ends.
Okay.
Um,
Regular season. And the other new business is you're gonna see some changes coming up on the website. I'm finding that more and more people are booking the center. And we've had a couple of conflicts. A lot of old timers that have used the center for 20 years, people not reading contracts. So basically, I'm gonna put up
So
on.
what are the conflicts, what's happening?
Well, the big one that just occurred that made me dirt and made me feel horrible. Person that's been renting the center for their Christmas party, they bring in full family, there's probably 60 of them in the
Okay.
center. Been renting the facility for 20 years. And they've always been the upstairs. She calls me up, put me on the building, I'm like, and she's only ever paid $25 an hour, at least in my 3 years, I mean. And I did figure out a way to block off the calendar so things will disappear now. But usually what I do is when I get and you guys have all
So what
seen-
happened?
I put up a tentative booking. Didn't return a thing, nothing. When I did it, the person who had the whole facility too, or thought they had, called me going, wait a minute, you can't put anybody in there, I have the whole facility. And I'm like, but you never told me that. I had never responded
So
back to
who told you
anybody.
they had the whole facility?
The renter, the one that's in there already, the first person that was there.
This is the person who's had the party for 20 years?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I always tentatively, when I get a rental in, I tentatively put it up on here, make sure my schedule is cohesive, and then I send the rental agreement.
Okay.
As far as, and it says very clearly in the website, until I have a returned signed agreement and the check, your rental is tentative. You are not confirmed, you're not.
Okay, so the 20-year party was
Yeah.
tentative.
No, they were signed and locked in, I have a check. It was the
Okay.
one coming in behind them that wanted to use the downstairs.
Okay.
I had put a tentative up, and then when the other person called me and said, no, I'm supposed to have the whole building, we just looked at it, why am I only upstairs? I'm like, well, because that's all you ever paid for. So needless to say, the person that wanted the downstairs was angry at me. Because I told them
Because
that.
the whole building wasn't blocked, so for
Blocked
them
off
it looked
properly,
open. Okay.
and I did eventually get the person that was upstairs, because she admitted part of it was her fault. The person booking, she goes, I never even read, she goes, I'll be the first to admit, I never read the agreement.
Okay.
She goes, I just assumed I had
Take
the
the
whole
building.
building. She goes, in 20 years, I've never had to share the building. So, what I've done is, Elise just helped me create this, so when now I get a tentative booking in, all you're gonna see is a black spot on the calendar, which will show it's something may be there. But you won't see a name attached to it, you won't see anything in there. And, it will allow me that, because right now, this is where my life runs, by this calendar, and it allows me to book when I need it.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
at
So
this
what happens
point,
if somebody goes on the calendar and wants to book that time and they see that big black space there?
they can go on to the rental, and they can go to the agreement, they can go to the thing over here, they can slide up, they can go on the online rental form,
Mm-hmm.
they can fill this in. But what will happen is, I will respond back with an email that says, tentatively, there is somebody in front of you for this date, you know,
Okay,
I should know within 24 hours, 48 hours if the date's available. And if it's not, then I knock it down. Martin is also gonna take this area. We're gonna add some stars to make people have to submit. He's gonna have an actual submission box down here at the bottom that you will have to click yes, stating that you understand if you click on upstairs only or downstairs only, that is all you're getting.
okay.
You're not,
So
so I'm
there's a
hoping
$25 an hour charge for the upstairs?
per hour,
Yep,
yeah. And it's the same thing for
for
downstairs.
downstairs, okay. So if somebody rents the whole thing, we charge them $50 an hour?
$50 an hour. They pay the per hour per floor.
Okay,
So, you know, I sat many hours on the phone crying, and I'm like, you know,
why, what was the,
the individual was upset, I was upset, I felt I had made a mistake, it was like,
the second group?
Well, have you
I felt
discussed
awful.
anything with them now?
I
or-
did talk with them, and how can I put this without sounding, he was abrupt in his emails, not to the point of abuse, but kind of disrespectful. And so I just said, you know something, I went upside down backwards. I said, look at, you know, I've got the other person to allow, you know, you to be down there for your hours, you know, or I just had a cancellation on the 17th. I even offered him the building at a discount to make him happy. And he just responded back, no, we don't want it.
Was this their first time ever renting? No? Okay.
It's,
But you offered a discount.
But I offered a
You gave
You
discount. I
offer them
offered-
the ability to use it anyway in the basement?
the original family renters actually agreed, since it was partly her mistake, that they could come into the basement. But she was like, I want you to make sure you spell it out to them clearly, that Mr. and Mrs. Claus will be upstairs doing arts and crafts,
Yeah.
there'll be a lot of people up here, and their children are not allowed
Yeah.
up here at this party.
Right,
So I did let them know that this was what was gonna be going on upstairs. I said, this is from the original renter.
Mhm.
She's more than willing to allow you in there, but she's very concerned about your child being disappointed. And like I said, the response I got was a little abrupt, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna chase it anymore. I've bent over backwards, I've done my handstand, my
Okay.
backflip,
Okay.
but now I'm trying to find ways, because the demand for the center is just, it keeps just going. I mean, I could use 3 more rooms. People just wanna use it, which is
Right.
good.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but it just makes it hard sometimes when so that you'll be
Well,
seeing some changes.
Unfortunately, those things can happen, so.
Yeah, but I feel bad when they do.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know, and you
Right.
offered, you know, a chance to, you know, give them opportunity to get the center again, but, you know.
So when does Martin
Didn't
think
work
that
out.
the changes on the website making things mandatory and the submit button
As long as
will
you guys
happen?
don't have any problem with that, it will happen this week. I will email him
Okay.
exactly the wording I want at the bottom. And so in order for them to even hit the submit button, they will have to read the
Check
little
the box,
disclaimer
right.
that says,
Okay.
yes, I understand, I'm only renting. Or, you know, if you want the whole building, then click the whole building.
Okay.
okay.
Do we wanna go back to minutes?
Yes.
I figured out where the name issue comes from. It's Mr. McNabb.
Oh, it's Mr. McNabb?
I already fixed it, but if you have to fix it on the original.
Okay. So you are gonna be Herrera from here on out?
That is my name, yes.
Okay.
It's the one I have.
Well, you can have an alias if you want.
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna correct the original.
That works.
It's good to me.
Herrera.
E-R-A,
Glaring name mistake.
twice. They'll fix it
Well,
twice.
I wasn't sure, at least,
That's okay. But it was just funny, before you got here, Nancy asked me about it.
oh,
Because
really?
on one of the
Yeah.
minutes from the fall, it said Herrera, what was Manley? And she's
Yeah.
like, apparently we didn't notice. So she asked me, and then these ones came, so figured it out.
No, we'll stick with that.
Stick with that. I am good with the minutes.
All right.
All right, should we go to this nice young lady over here?
Okay.
Sure.
So summer playground was a disappointment this year, and I don't know, tried to figure out reasons, tried to come up with, different things. Right off the bat, there was low turnout as far as, campers signing up.
Can I just stop you for a second? Low enrollment and low turnout, or just low turnout?
Both.
Like our numbers were never good?
Our numbers were
Okay.
never good, no. And it was even from the very beginning, because in years previous, we usually had about 60 people signed up before camp even started. And,
Right.
you know, a call in, I was asking Nancy how it was going, and she said, we have like 5. And this was like 2 weeks before, camp always starts the week of July 4th. And, we just could never come up with a reason. We actually sent, emails out
We put how many emails out?
to
We
everybody
did-
from the previous year.
I mean, I even did a whole blanket to the 900 to see.
We had signs out, we had the flyers in the schools. Just, I don't really, we offered the same things we always offer. We had the basketball, the soccer, the arts and crafts, creative games, we had the water slide. I mean, it was a hot summer.
Yeah. What did we kind of average weekly?
About 45 to 50,
Kids
yep.
each day?
Yes, yep.
And what were we doing in the past?
Twice as much.
Twice, yeah.
Yep.
Close to 100.
It was
Yeah, it was-
definitely 100 when I was
Yeah.
on
Oh,
there.
yeah, it's
We were up into the
been
120s
going
on
down
like
the
really
last
good
couple of
days.
years.
I mean,
Right.
ever since we had the issue where people assumed because the library was closing and
Right.
everything was being canceled,
Yeah.
ever since then, it's like,
that's been a factor.
it's been a factor.
And Kathy,
Do
you
we-
even said a few people weren't sure if it was run again this year, even though we advertised.
Yep.
So financially, what did we spend on summer playground this year?
Oh, I don't have those numbers off the top of my head.
I think we
So-
should look at that.
And we
Okay.
also cut way back
Yeah.
on staffing.
Staffing. Yep.
We didn't replace people that had left, except one person was a new hire, was Kelly. Other than that, we didn't replace, so we had 13 people last year, we had 10 this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Then also, we allowed the, staff to take days off, which quite a few of them did
Right.
take days
Yeah,
off.
that helped with
Yeah.
That made a big
the,
difference.
with the budget, yeah.
So first premise is we're gonna have summer playground next year. What do we think that we would need to do now
Well,
to,
so
that
Brendan.
we haven't done in the past?
Right, and Brendan and I have talked about this. It's that we don't really have things to offer that we figure some of the other camps, I mean, we don't have a pool, we don't have an indoor facility. So it makes it difficult, it does. Also, we don't go full day, so it gets difficult. We have a lot of grandparents and friends picking the kids up at noontime. We did start a half hour earlier, but I don't even know if that made a difference. It used to be 9 to 12, and we went 8:30 to 12. But,
But I think the hard part is again, you said it right up front, finding things to do with the kids. And the worst part is, yes, there are places we could go, but we have to pay for the buses.
yeah,
It's very
And that's
costly.
and that's so costly.
Have we ever talked to the school about using the Varnbrook gym?
Yes.
and I used it a couple times.
Yeah, what if we reserved it for for each day for the summer playground? Is it possible to, or reserve it, could we get on a schedule where Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we reserve it, or?
The problem is the
I'm
school's.
not sure.
The
We'd have
school's
to
gonna
pay.
we'd have to pay big
Yeah.
money for it because you have to pay to have a janitor in the building and unlock
Oh,
the
right.
building.
And I know
or-
TAP pays, so, right?
Dr. Hanley's great to offer that, but yeah, I don't know, in the past we've looked at it, Tim, I don't know if it's gonna make that big of a difference, but it is another opportunity, but think I.
But it opens up just basketball,
Yeah,
which we already have the
right.
basketball courts. It really doesn't open up anything else.
You
Because
could-
when
Yeah,
we
you
did
could do a
use
bunch
it,
of stuff inside, but at least it would be a place that you could go into out of the blazing hot
Right.
sun.
exactly, and that's why we did it. I had called
Right.
Dr. Hanley and I said, the kids, and it was during the water ban. So we
Right.
also couldn't use the water
this
slide.
water slide
We
anymore.
couldn't even use like the sprinklers or anything like that.
Oh, right.
So I said, I don't know what else to do. The kids, it's hot. To put them, to keep bringing them inside was tough.
Couldn't have pumped water from the
The pond, from the little pond.
Well, that's what I said.
From the Varn
Let them go
Brook.
swimming in it.
Yeah, from the Varn
Go swim in the little
Uh,
pond.
we did something
We
turtles.
did a little diving board.
So I get, so the two things is one, is a path, if we have it, what do we have to do to make it worthwhile? The other is, have we reached a point where it's not worthwhile anymore and that we should,
Well, even, again, Brenda and I were talking about it last year because I was thinking, is it gone beyond like 6 weeks? Is it something we do 2 weeks and we have it in, 8 to 4?
yeah,
For
but how are you
2
gonna
weeks
get,
or
you're
something
not gonna be
like
able
that.
to staff 2 weeks.
I know.
I never thought about that,
Yeah,
really.
it's tough. We were trying to figure out other options.
Yeah, we were trying to
The
come up with
6
something
weeks,
that would
yeah,
work.
it doesn't seem to be working. Even the staff was kind of losing enthusiasm the last week and a half.
Well, here's the
because
problem
of
with
the
it
numbers.
too. We didn't have enough kids to separate age groups.
Right.
So all the kids were playing together, and you get 5-year-olds playing with 11-year-olds,
It's a
and
big
then there's an
difference.
issue, and boys and girls, and there was a lot of kids that maybe got pushed down because they were playing capture the flag, and it was just tough. It really is better when you have those 80 kids
Yeah.
because you can have the 5, 6, and 7-year-olds playing capture the flag over here, and you can have the the older 8, 9,
And
and
that's
10s.
historically been our bigger age group is the 5, 6,
Right.
7-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
That younger
Right.
group are the ones that are searching for things to do.
Right.
And I don't even know. I mean, I guess the population is down. I don't know if younger kids, people are having less children. I mean, I just don't even know.
Yeah.
I
So
don't.
we had talked about doing a survey and sort of getting a feel from the town or from the people of town is,
Yeah, I think
you know,
that would be a really good
without
idea.
making a drastic decision
Yep.
on our own without some input from the town. I think we need to do something. However, I would say we need to do something
Now.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally agree.
Because like I said, I can post it up on the web and put it out as an alert, and anybody who gets the alerts would automatically get, the announcement would get the survey and choose to print it out and do
It's a
it.
simple yes or no question, should we have summer playground again?
One question, that's it, just answer
Well,
it.
you
You
as I
had
told you
something
before,
though,
I
didn't you?
created some
Yeah.
a few years back and I
Yeah.
still have it. And I can send everyone a copy and then if you guys wanna add any questions or
Yeah.
tweak something.
Right, and like I said,
feel
I've got
free.
900 in the email list that I can push it out to, and hopefully we get 50 or 100 back,
Right.
that people will just let us know, give me some idea.
Yeah, so
I
send
hope
us,
it's-
send
yeah.
us all,
Yeah.
send all of us those questions and
Okay.
things, and then let's come up with if there's something else we wanna add. But we should try to get that out before the end of the year.
Yeah, we
End of
need
the
it
year.
soon,
Yeah.
and
We've gotta,
I think we have to really express though how the numbers have gone down, the cost, and really let the town know, because there's a lot of sentiment towards
Right.
playground.
Right.
People in the past have gone, but I don't think they've understood what's been going on with the numbers and how things have changed.
Well, and the need for it to be almost completely self-funding
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
very different than the playground of
But, oh, it's changed.
1962.
Yep, we've lost 70% of the funding, so.
can you, for our next meeting?
Yes,
Yeah, we can just, let's figure out how much we spent and how much it cost us.
I will do that.
And actually because the next one on there too would be
The one last thing I was gonna bring up, and Kathy can add to it, is would it be even possible for us to even change the location? Even though I believe the location is perfect, however, as Kathy was saying, we've been talking about, and you guys know, we don't have any natural resources, a pond or, even a brook or, some areas to go hiking. And I think those things are what could be pushing people away.
I mean, we do have the things in town.
Right.
The problem is getting them to there.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's been, because you and I talked about it, of the place up in New Hampshire. It's a park, it's a New Hampshire State Park. You can bus up there, they have lifeguards on duty, you go up with the kids, you can spend the day at the beach, have a picnic, and come home.
Mhm.
But we're talking,
The busing is
$300 for a bus.
Right.
see, I think it would be good to almost ask parents what they're looking for at this point, cause we also checked with some local, with some other area playgrounds, and they're all off.
Yeah.
Townsend was way off.
She's way off.
Yeah.
And they couldn't understand why.
Honest to God, I think kids are just more content to sit at home and play on
Right.
their phones.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, I think
Or
a lot of
video
it too, are
games.
parents are letting them, because it
Yeah.
means they don't have to take them out.
Right.
Well, I think you have that and compounded with working parents.
Working
So,
parents,
and-
they
and
have no way to
that's
get
where our
out.
I
hours
do.
will kill us, and
Right.
and that's been
Right.
for a long time.
Yep.
We've been battling the we're not a full day program,
Right.
and we don't have any sort of extension or aftercare or that
Right.
sort of thing.
And
It always amazes me how many grandparents are there at 12
Oh, yes.
o'clock.
Mhm.
It's
Right,
it's
it is.
simply amazing
Yeah.
to look at.
And if we
Well, part of the
change,
survey then should we go, full day?
that's one of the questions. The
Yeah.
only problem is that brings, cause I know, the finance committee had asked us a couple of years ago about that, but that's a major change. You're bringing in lunch,
Right.
you have
it's
to
the
worry
the
about
food and the
food allergies, all that, but also salaries would change.
Well, we wouldn't bring in lunch, they would.
Well, the kids would have to
But
bring
it's
their
the
lunch.
whole aspect of bringing food in or
Yeah.
feeding, and there was something about
That
that had to be
changes-
specific.
yes.
It changes you from a
You
playground
got to a
to
camp.
to a
Did-
camp,
camp.
and there's different rules for camps and playgrounds.
And I'm not
And
sure.
and the staff salary, because
Right.
we're talking about a longer than an 8-hour day. Or shifts of staff.
Could we end it and then recheck in everybody and start next meeting?
And then bring them to the
Kidding.
pond.
Just joking.
Kathy did, I did have a volunteer to clean out the pond next to the center.
Really, it's too bad that we don't have those options.
Yeah.
But then that also brings a whole other
Yeah.
set of
But all works.
liabilities too.
Because you and I had discussed even possibly working something within conjunction with Brookline.
Right,
I mean, but again, we're back to that, okay, and now we have to bus them there.
Right.
no, that's our
But
problem.
Brookline has an incredible swimming lesson program. So if you have enough kids, you bus them up in the morning for the 2 hours, they get an hour of swim, they come back, they have lunch, and then they play on playground all day. So it's, but,
Yeah.
But it's the busing.
And you
but
can
it's the
only-
busing.
yeah, you can only do so many walking field trips too.
right.
Yeah,
So.
Because that was something, because, like I said, that you and I talked about it, and it's like, liability-wise, I don't think it's any worse than if we had a
Right.
pool
Right.
to bus them to Brookline, because
Yeah.
there's all lifeguards on the beach, but I was just like, how do you, I mean, unless the parents are willing to foot the cost, of
Yeah.
the increase in price, or do we,
well, we had the 3 trips, we went to, the movies, we went to Roll on America, and we went to Max's. And each one of them, we had about 45, which was almost every single, one of the trips, we only had 3 kids stay behind, that was it.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I mean, the trips seem to be,
Yeah.
It prob-
It catches
like
their
the
interest,
trips.
right? Yep.
But yeah, the bus cost really hurts. So.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you will email us a copy of the survey, and our goal will be to try to get it out.
We
You
wanna-
guys can add questions,
And
tweet
I would
it.
look
Would
at
our
the
goal be
financials.
to, by our next meeting, be able to have that survey done and get out? Or do we want to try to get the survey questions to Brendan and Elise before then and get the survey out between now and then?
Yeah, I'd like everyone to take a look at it, and if you wanna add some, you guys can tweak some.
Do we want to try to get it out ahead of our next meeting?
When's the next meeting?
Oh, you mean
We
like
haven't
when
decided,
everyone's
it'll be
done to
January.
it? Sure.
So
'Cause
I
my-
would say though, if you're a family looking at this type of year and you're getting a survey, are you taking time to do the survey now?
At the holidays or not?
Or are you a
Probably
little
not.
bit
That's a good
too
point.
busy?
Maybe after.
Maybe it's, the survey comes out the week the kids go back to school and life sort of settles back down in
Right,
January.
that's a good point.
That is.
that first week, so have it ready to go the first week in January.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right after the new year, put it
So
out.
why don't we set a meeting for that first week?
Do we wanna set a meeting for that first week, or do we wanna
Well, I
have
think we're gonna
a
all
30-minute
have to,
meeting
all of us
over?
have to look at it, double check if everything's,
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, all set.
I think we could all look at it and email various questions and at that meeting, just sort of put our rubber stamp on it
And
that
say, this is good,
this
we're
is
gonna
good to
go
go,
with
our
it,
final check of it,
And
this
then-
is what it's gonna look like.
Okay.
I'll let it fly and I'll get it up on the announcements.
What's the best way to get it to everybody in town?
Well, I can get approval from Superintendent Landers, that's the first thing I can do. I've got 900 emails from here in town. I can push it, if Superintendent Landers allows me to, I can pretty much tell you the preschool through 4th grade.
Okay.
Those children will bring it home to mom and dad, and they will give it to them. The 5th graders, about 50% will take it, from
So-
6th grade on, nobody.
Alright,
So,
hold on though, we can't
what's
do
our
a paper
survey?
survey because
Right.
who's doing all that tabulation?
So, well, either, well,
I
either,
would.
I mean, I
would
lose
look through
with
it.
900, depending
Kathy's
on,
good with numbers.
just seeing the numbers that I get back now when I send flyers out,
Mhm.
the percentages, for every 100 flyers that go out, I'm willing to bet we're probably gonna get 10 back, if we're lucky.
so if we do an online survey.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah.
With a flyer with the survey link,
Yeah,
do?
So I could do a half sheet and
yeah,
say,
I think yes.
so, do a half sheet flyer so I get 2
How
out
is
of
your
each.
survey right now? Where, is it just on a piece of paper?
Just on Word.
Okay,
So I
Okay, so
wonder
I
if
can
you
put
could
that
put
up
it
on-
on a survey and it also give us a percentage for each question?
Let me
know.
ask, and I know there is a survey, site I can use that's free, I think.
Yeah, what's
So let
the-
me,
so
What's
the,
that?
and the
It's a
town might
monkey.
have.
Monkey, I was just
gonna
Survey
say,
Monkey.
Survey
Yeah,
Monkey.
the
The
school
town
has
might
used
have.
it,
Yep.
yeah.
so we use Survey
The
Monkey,
school
and I can
issues
check
it.
to
The
see
other
what the
thing-
website is capable of.
The other thing that's pretty simple is a Google form. If we're only asking yes and no questions, it's a pretty easy tabulating thing, and I could help figure that out
All right.
if need be.
I don't know, I almost think though that we should ask people what it is they would want.
Yeah, there's gotta be some sort
Well,
of.
you gotta have that
We
thing
can-
at the
we can
bottom
put
where
that
they
right
can,
there.
yeah, the open block that says, please
Yeah.
give us your suggestions, what do you think? Tell me something.
Yeah.
And we then look at it whether it's realistic or not, meaning how much, you know, our budget is and what we can do.
But I mean, I suppose that survey, if we can get people to respond back to it, then gives us the firepower to go back to the finance meeting in the town and say, look it, this is what people are asking for, we need to help pay for it.
And let's hope, but
That's
yeah,
if we can provide for it. So
If we can provide what
Yeah.
they want,
they might, you know, but the committee might look at it and say, well, the numbers have been so low, this is a big risk and we can't, you
Right,
know.
well,
But we'll see what we can do.
We'll cross that bridge, but
Right.
we've got to at least go to them and say, you know, here's the feedback.
Yeah,
Because, you know, 40 to 50 kids is not an inconsequential number. You know, it's not, it's half or maybe even less than half of what we've had historically.
yeah,
But it's still a lot of
Still
kids.
Yeah,
keeps
oh
it
yeah,
up.
oh yeah,
Right.
it's
We don't
50
wanna-
kids that need it.
and
Yeah,
right, and
it's a
those are the
great
kids that
program.
need to be,
Right,
they're good, they're out.
yeah,
yeah.
and the kids that went did enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, they had
Yeah.
a great time.
It's just, you know, I don't know, we're just losing kids for
Yeah.
different reasons.
And then we even did the math too, like, if someone makes the decision to keep their children at home and hire a babysitter, the cost was like $3 an hour to come to camp versus having to pay 6 to 10
Right,
for
a
daycare.
babysitter.
Like, we didn't know how to get that out to people, like,
Yeah.
it's a better deal.
Yeah,
We
we've
are-
always been economical, that's for
Right,
sure.
Yeah, we are the
Right.
better deal.
Right. Okay.
So,
Well, Kathy, thank you
All
for
right.
coming.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Kath. Good
it.
seeing you.
Yeah.
All right,
Merry
good seeing
Christmas,
you.
Have a
Kathy.
good
Thanks,
holiday,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Yeah,
Nice
good
to
to
meet
talk to
you.
you. Have a Merry
All right,
Christmas.
bye-bye.
Happy holidays.
Take care.
So I did, are we moving on to 6?
Yep.
Okay, I did bring electric costs, for fiscal year 15. Did I do this right? Fiscal year 15, where the town had budgeted us $4,000 for electricity. And our, budget, our actual usage was about 4,400. So Then we did some lights turning off and all the issues that we've had with our lighting. So our actual cost last year, so our budget was down from the town because they cut that percentage. So we were down to a $3,800 budget
In 16?
in 16. And we spent about 3,600.
Okay.
And then to date this year, we are at about 1,300, and our budget again would be that 3,800. That number stayed the same for
We're not even
fiscal
halfway
year
yet.
17. We're nowhere near.
So our number's
We're in-
3,600 though?
Our number's 3,800.
38 for the year?
Yep, and we're at 13.
Okay.
And that would be only up to the beginning of November, so that's really July, August,
So-
September, October.
I guess in the budget of things that we get from the town, are they really attempting to fund certain things, or are they just kind of giving us a block of money and we're saying, all right, we're gonna put,
So I think originally, yes, I think originally when we were at $4,000, that was an attempt at being right around where we were. I mean, since that $4,000 budget, which was for a couple of years, that was what our amounts were. Electrical rates have soared. We've done all sorts of, if you look at some of the different, and I think I wiped those columns out, but there's a fee for this and like solar pass-through charge that we had to pay
oh, right.
money for. And, I mean, it's the same as your house. We're paying all of those same rates, pass on to the ratepayer sort of thing. So I think we're closer than I actually thought we were, but we had turned serious lights off in the past
Right.
year in a measure of conservation. So it would be interesting to me if we do the upgrades, or if we look at the upgrades and can get our lights back on more regularly, what that allows for other programming, what that allows in general. It's probably gonna be a wash. I mean, we're still gonna be at our
Were we supposed to have
budget
that guy
amount.
come?
He couldn't come, but I did have another person, Jason Goy, who is from Pepperell. He owns an LED light business. He came over to the center because I called him, but one of the ladies that's part of the quilters that come in on Thursday and Saturdays went back to work and told him he needed to get over there to the center because the quilter ladies were having trouble seeing. The lighting was that poor in the center. So, he
I
took
love those quilters.
he took his orders from his employee, and when I called him, he says, "Yes, I'm supposed to come see you." I went, "Okay, let's make an appointment." Jason said he would love to come to our January meeting and talk to us, because I talked to him about my concerns about, how do we pay for this? Is this something that, is it gonna save us that much money? Jason felt that by replacing the planning board's coming in.
Yeah, okay.
You're welcome to come in. You're allowed to be in here, because this is an open meeting.
That's fine.
To recreation.
Continue as you are.
Thanks.
He felt that the lights, if we were to replace just the lights on the courts and the two that face out onto the field now, we would pay for those lights in probably less than a year and a half in savings. He said that's how quickly, because he said those huge 1,000-watt bulbs that we've got burning, he said the new LEDs have brighter, better projection. He goes, he said we could almost probably add additional lighting and still save and light up.
So how much are those lights?
He's gonna come back with that.
Okay.
I asked him to come back with that, to meet with us in January, to have costs for what the lights were, what the cost to be to install them, what would our savings be, what's our projected
Am I
savings?
wrong that somebody said they were like $1,000 a light?
Not anymore,
Oh, okay.
not anymore.
So are
No,
we
you're
only
right.
looking
They
at the
mentioned that
field
before.
lights,
No.
or we're looking at the building
The
lights?
building,
I mean,
everything.
to me, that was the more important
Yes.
And the courts?
parts of it.
Building and courts.
Now, what light, I've been noticing at night, is there a few set of lights that have to be on?
Okay, so what you're
Throughout the year.
seeing is when the pole came crashing down and I
Yeah.
had my horrifying trip through the summer with that,
Yeah.
they went and repaired all the poles. All the poles were replaced, all the lights were fixed, all the electrical panel was done, and when they started flipping switches, things didn't come on. And so the electrician's like, okay, did something pull, did something break? So basically, the electrician went up every pole, checked the bulbs, checked the lights, checked the sensors, and voila. The lights that come on every night now that project onto the field are doing their job. Knock on wood, since those lights came on in August, I have not had any issues with malicious destruction. Our kids,
So,
Where do those lights face? Out onto the
they
field or the
face
parking
out
lot?
onto the field.
So they're aligned on like the parking lot, and they
Right.
face out?
They're, that pole right there in the middle behind like where the diamond is, the skin field.
Yeah,
There's two poles and they just project.
okay.
And when the police officers come through at night, they can see the gazebo, they can see the whole
It
playground.
illuminates
So
a
they-
great deal of
Okay.
the
those
field.
lights have to be on all year?
It comes on as a sensor, and
It
they
does,
are
okay.
light dark censored. It's one of those eyes that
Okay.
checks when it gets dark, and then they come on.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So even if we were to only say, okay, let's just do those two for right now, those would be the big ones, because those are those big
Okay.
1,000-watt bulbs.
Oh,
that
no,
are-
they need it for safety, but I was
But-
just curious.
Okay.
But yeah, he definitely felt there's fixtures that we can put inside, because again, I expressed my concern over, replacing with fixtures that don't fit in the existing holes, or if we're gonna cover holes, repairing the ceiling afterwards, because I don't wanna create more damage than is gonna
Right,
fix.
Right, repair damage.
So he said he definitely was gonna come back with fixtures. He would gladly come to our January meeting,
Okay, so he's gonna talk about both outside and internal?
internal, and make sure that we have lighting, not only in the center fixed, the outdoors, on the building fixed.
Good.
He actually noted, I didn't even realize, I have a light on the back of the building that faces into the parking lot towards the bathrooms. It doesn't work. The one on the end of the building over the back door doesn't work.
Okay.
It's
So he's gonna come in and give us, give us a
a
quote?
presentation. He will give
He's
us a
gonna give us a
presentation.
presentation
And a quote.
What about the other gentleman? So I mean, your
Peter
first
Silvestri
kind of
and
thing
I-
was like, it's gonna
He's
cost
the same.
$4,000 or
Right.
$5,000?
And Peter Silvestri and I are still playing email tag, because he does the same thing you do. He drives in and out of Boston from, I almost want to say Sunapee, New Hampshire or something. Yeah, he's up off by 89 somewhere, I think he told me. So he and I are still trying to figure,
Okay.
when one of our meetings, we'll meet one of his,
Yep.
so that he can come in too.
Do we have a quote from him?
We do.
I thought we had something from him.
And it was like, here. It was like $44,072.
Thank you.
So we're under.
This was the page that was missing in the last thing.
Right, we're
Okay.
under the, we're close to enough to the $5,000 mark, but yeah, I'd probably, I wanna get I would rather get another
Yeah.
quote just to be
Right.
safe. So again, Jason said he would definitely, and he listed off, the lights, and the other email actually had the fixtures listed in it.
So it
So
says
this is
it's-
only the community center itself, right? Exterior,
Yeah,
stairways,
is that-
kitchen,
is
basement,
that
main
for the
function room,
building,
bath.
or-
So this has nothing to do with the
The outside.
outdoor.
Ah,
'Cause, yeah.
wow. So it could be almost double.
Well, yeah, because he was saying the outdoors, when he was telling me the outdoor fixtures, he did this for us first because a lot of this is covered under a lot of the rebates
Mm-hmm.
with National
Right.
Grid. So we may rebate a lot of this back. So that's the other thing Jason will go over is what's available for rebates, what's available that we can
Okay.
get money
Yeah,
back.
we'd have
So
to
the
definitely
green
find that
community
out.
thing, is that rebates as well?
No, that's
No,
a
okay.
big chunk of money that comes in and then the town divides it
Decides
up.
how it goes. Okay.
And through the evaluations of the people that came through last year, they did all kinds of investigations in the building
Right,
to
yep.
say whose buildings were the worst,
Mhm.
whose were moderate, where do they really have to sink that money to start big chunks of preservation and savings versus,
Okay.
because I think we're on the green communities, depending on what they get for next year, I thought is potentially,
Somewhere,
is the
where
new
down the
heater.
pecking order,
We're-
okay.
But some of that money might come our way.
Okay.
Hello,
You can come
Why-
in and join us for our rec meeting if you'd like.
we've got 8 more minutes and then
We
we're
got
out
8 more
of here.
minutes. Yeah, we're here till 7.
Okay,
All right, so, January meeting is Goldthwait.
Yep, so
Yep.
Jason said he would be in.
And he's gonna bring both outside and
And
inside.
inside.
Okay. We're like popular. So can I talk about one other business thing?
Yep.
Sure.
Since that was the one thing we didn't. I did meet with Paula since our last meeting and went over, her final draft of the open space and recreation plan. She had already incorporated everything that we had talked to her, about as far as anything that we would like to see, sort of big ticket items, you know, swimming pools, expanding the building. We talked a lot about the preserving the open space at the town field and how that fits into the goals of the plan in general, which is, there's a goal that speaks to preserving the charm and the ways of Pepperell and that sort of thing. So she's in the final stages of editing and publishing, and I did see big chunks of them
It's a
out
big
there. She
pile
had
out
added pictures.
Yeah.
She may come back before us again in order to just sort of do a final presentation. But she has everything that we have possibly talked about now in there.
Okay, great, thank you for connecting.
Yeah, thank you.
The only other thing that I had on our master plan project, I talked to Mark, he
Yes,
said he's a
yep.
couple weeks away from having everything finalized to put it
To
on.
put it out.
Whatever, ComPsych or whatever, that's not the name of the thing,
Right.
but.
I actually know what you're talking about.
So that it goes on and we can get bids, and I think there's, 4 or 5 other companies that would, go on there and pull it down and give us a bid, so we're a couple weeks away from that happening, but then when that goes on, I think he was talking about giving it X number of weeks for people to respond to it.
Okay.
I did post up onto the Central Mass Rec group that I belong to and asked them if any of them had done master plans, what they did, how they did they do it themselves, just threw out a few questions. I've gotten 5 responses back from them. I think I forwarded one, I'll re-forward about.
Yeah, what was the email you were asking if
I had
looked at?
forwarded, Worcester sent us their master plan, which is beautiful. They did a gorgeous job on it, very detailed. So the letter I gave you today, that bundle, is another group that did
Southborough,
that was, I think, their bid out, what they expected.
right.
So
Okay.
that's probably
For
what
the
our
Can you
master
copy
plan.
this to Mark?
No, I just gave it to you.
Oh, okay.
I can ask Mark if he'd be interested in seeing it. So basically, ask them also who they used. What did you do? And everybody pretty much came back and said, we put it out to bid. We had, one of them said they had 5 people come back with bids. Other people said they only had 1 or 2.
Okay.
Pretty much the predominant prevailing name that's come up in every email is they've all used Gale Associates here in state.
Well, let's
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll have to
It
see.
de-
It depends on who responds to the bid, right?
Exactly.
Right, and I think that's what it
We
comes
have
to, is
no
who
control
depends,
over
right,
that.
who responds and,
And what
how
they
far people
offer,
wanna travel
right.
and, right. But that, what I just gave, Tim was a submission for, a master
Town of
plan.
Southborough, yeah,
From
master plan
Southborough,
in
he
June.
sent me that, so I'll email those out to all of you, so you can kind of see what the other towns have been doing
Sure.
and what their master plans look like.
Oh, that'd be great.
Cause I've got master plans from Westford, Worcester, that just came from Southborough. Really a great bunch of, people giving back information.
Yeah, no, that'd be very nice to look at.
Great. Date for our next meeting?
First week of January, I think we just said, right?
Is that Monday?
That Monday's
A
actually a holiday, I
Holiday.
think.
Okay. So that's no.
So that's no to that Monday.
You guys wanna try that Wednesday? Would that be the 3rd?
The 4th?
Is that
Is that the 4th?
Yep.
Wednesday's the 4th?
It works for me, I have nothing on my calendar.
Tim?
I don't think I've got anything in my calendar that day.
4th.
I'm open for it.
All right, so we're putting playground, survey on here.
What time are we looking at?
Did 6 work for you, Tim, or was it too much of a push for you to get out of town?
No, it's all right. I got on on a 4:30 train, so it was fine.
Does 6 work for everybody?
Yeah.
6 p.m.
So we have the survey for
Summer playground.
summer playground, and then
Jason coming in for the lighting.
Yep.
Anything else you guys want me to add to this when I post it up?
I think that's,
I mean, keep in mind, as
Yeah.
long as you notify me before 48 hours
Right.
before the meeting, I
You
can
can
adjust
adjust it.
yeah, if
it.
something else comes up, but I think we're,
So,
Right,
in
we
good
might
shape.
need to be talking about the
Right.
master plan if Mark's,
Right.
Mark's close or ready.
yeah,
And I will work on those summer playground numbers as well
Okay,
for
yep,
what
and I'll
do,
get you
what do
guys,
the actual
I'll send you
financials
in.
look like.
Remember, just, hopefully, when I send it, we can have it, so you guys can edit it if you need to.
okay, because yeah, as long as it's
Okay.
in Word,
Yeah,
I can.
well, if not, just send me and then I can fix it from,
That'll work.
yeah.
All right,
Alright.
meeting
Officially
adjourned?
close the
Meeting adjourned.
meeting.
Yeah.